Hello, everybody. Hello. I told Storm, I said, we're going to match today with the hair up and glasses and everything. My little ponytail. I got my hair cut not too long ago, so I have to kind of put it higher up to get it all to stay in. But my air conditioning is out. So, and I was just working this morning in our bookstore's storage unit. They have me working on getting stuff ready to list on eBay. So it wasn't super hot this morning, but it kind of got me conditioned to coming back home where there was no air conditioning. Hopefully, we'll get it fixed today. My husband looked at it last night and he said, "Let's just turn it off and let it maybe it's frozen up and maybe that'll help." But anyway, hello everybody. We have a few people already in the comments. Um, Lost Coffee Mug, remind me of what your first name is.
I think it's Lisa.
Is it Lisa? I was thinking Lisa. So, but anyway, Donna, you get the joy of being the first one to comment. Donna, thank you so much for coming. And then Lisa, hello, hello, and Esther Jane, hello. Esther Jane, when I answered you back in an email once, I was asking you because of your last name that you mentioned if you were related to an author friend of mine that I went to school with. And I don't know if you ever answered me back or not. You may have answered me and I didn't go back to, do you remember that? Did you ever see that? Anyway, and Esther Jane also says hi, Storm, or hey, Storm. So thank y'all for being here. So I just kind of had this little idea yesterday that it's the middle of middle grade May, and it would be fun to do just a little. Sorry about my glasses. I don't actually have to have them right now. I don't have my contacts in, so I can't really see, but I don't want the glare. So unless I got to read something, I'll leave them off. I just thought it'd be fun to do kind of a mid-month live stream. I'm not planning to do sprints or anything right now. I asked all four hosts, all the other three hosts, if they had time to do this today or yesterday. And Storm was the only one that could do it. Lee had said that she could probably do some sprints sometime this weekend. So I just am not sure that I could do anything Saturday because I'm presenting the program at our women's luncheon tomorrow and all that stuff. So I was like, well, and Storm was like, I can. So I was like, okay, let's just go ahead and do something today. And then if Lee can do something at some point during the weekend, then I'll try my best to be there. But anyway, so I just thought it'd be fun to do a mid-month, middle grade, what are we calling it? Middle grade May mid-month mixer. Y'all don't know because okay, I love alliterations. And so I sat in my chair for a good 10 minutes trying to come up with an M word that would fit some kind of a gathering or get together or whatever. So anyway, I was like, oh, mixer. I think that'll work. But anyway, so Storm, how's it going? Let us know what you're up to. I have watched your
Yeah.
yesterday's daily reading vlog. Did you get any more mowing done?
No, but at least the mower is fixed. But we were gone like most of the day this morning, and it was supposed to rain, but it didn't do it. So hopefully, maybe tomorrow I can get the mowing done.
Okay.
Because Monday and Tuesday we're supposed to have some nasty storms, so I need to get it done before then.
Yeah. Yeah, I was actually just listening to your video while I was on the way home from work because I worked today. And when you were talking about how the mower was fine until your brother borrowed it, I was already ahead of you. I was like, then get him to fix it. And then you were like, he it was fine when he borrowed it, so he's gonna have to fix it. I was like, yeah, you tell him.
Yeah, and at least it was an easy fix because he was like, "Well, I don't know what happened." He goes, "It was fine." He left it sitting there, and then he worked, and then he came home, and then he drove it over, and he's like, "I don't know why, but I guess the belt just slipped while he was bringing it home or whatever, maybe because he lives just up the road from us, so has a actually it used to be part of our property, and then we sold it to them." So he has kind of like a mode spot from his house to our house that kind of cuts off half of our lane.
Oh,
So
okay.
he can go through that and then pop off onto the lane and then drive it down because,
Oh,
yeah,
so
he doesn't
he
live
just
very far.
goes in the mower. He drives the mower to his
Yeah.
house and back. Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
he'll walk down to our house, get the mower, and then.
Okay.
And see, his mower is belts broke. And it's like $65 to get a new one. And he just hasn't had the money to get a new one yet. So.
I hear you. Seems like everything breaks when when you don't need it to. um, and last night when my husband got home, I was like, well, I had texted him earlier. I was like, something's wrong with the air conditioner. Well, he was already on his way to get a new phone for our daughter. We had said we would do that for her graduation gift because she's going to be gone all summer, and her phone was working fine, but the screen was cracked and right over the camera, so she couldn't do like decent selfie type pictures, and she's doing like a once in a lifetime thing this summer. And so my husband had an iPhone 6. I mean, that's how old his his phone was, and hers was like maybe an 11. I don't even know. I don't keep up with the numbers because I don't have an iPhone. Hang on just a second, Emily. You we'll put that in when I'm done here. Okay. She's got a movie. She's tapping on SpongeBob. I'll show y'all. This is what she wants to watch. SpongeBob. It's box set.
Cool, SpongeBob.
But she already has Max and Ruby in, and I was like, I don't have time to switch it out to SpongeBob because you have to wait for the menu, and Max and Ruby goes on its own. It'll just reset. So you told me you would be okay with Max and Ruby until I get done. She'll probably be back in here 5 more times.
But that was like 5 minutes ago. I'm not good with it now. So.
Anyway, so we had agreed that that would be her graduation gift, was to upgrade her phone. And what I thought was going to happen is that since Reddy didn't really care about a selfie camera and he needed to upgrade, that her old phone would go to him, and then we'd just buy one new phone, and then he would get her phone, and then he could do away with iPhone 6. So they get home and they both have new phones. But he said, well, it was really a better deal than I expected it to. Excuse me.
Sometimes if you hit the right time, you can get a pretty good deal on things.
And she also
that's what I do with my dad. Like when I need a new phone, I'm like, Dad, I'll like give you my phone, and then I can get a new phone, and then he gets kind of a new phone because it's better than the one that he had. Because I mean, really, all he does is get on it and play on Facebook and things like that. So.
Yeah. So it wasn't a huge expense, but it was an expense all the same. And Randy had just worked some overtime. So we had a little extra anyway, but it's like, okay, he's already about to bite the bullet and get the phone when I'm texting him, our air conditioner's broken. He's like, oh my goodness. Now, I'm sure.
And I swear it all hits at one time sometimes. It's just like crazy.
But hopefully it'll be okay. So anyway, now I will have to put my glasses back on to read any more comments.
So are you caught up with your book a day?
Yes, I'm ahead. I don't know if did you listen to my?
Yeah, I did. You like through a whole bunch of
I was behind a little bit, and then on what day was it? Wednesday, I think. Wednesday, I started a 5-book series, and I just blew through the whole series. But they're little. I've got 4 of them here. They're short, and on audio they were anywhere from 3 to an hour and a half. All 5 of them. But I want to recommend these because even if you don't have time to fit in anything for middle grade May, these are quick and easy for June on the Range, because these are middle grade Westerns. And they're awesome. They're by Gary Paulson, who wrote Hatchet, and he's for that anyway. So I had this one, Call Me Francis Tuckett. And that's the only one that I own. And I looked it up, and I saw that it was book 2 in a series. And I looked it up on Audible Plus, and all 5 of the series are on Audible Plus. So because I like to put all my books in a big pile and take pictures at the end of the month, I like to have physical copies if I can. So I just ordered them all from the library. And the first one came a while back. So this is the first one, called Mr. Tuckett. And you can see that there on the cover. So then Call Me Francis Tuckett is number 2. Number 3, I can't remember the title. I think it's Tuckett's Family. And then number 4 is Tuckett's Gold. And then number 5, Tuckett's Home. So these are quick and easy. Even if you don't like audiobooks, they are so short.
They have them on Hoopla, the audiobooks.
Okay. And so this one is 93 pages. So I want to say
Okay. The
on
first one's
audio,
like 3 hours and 33 minutes. It looks
that's
like.
the longest one, is the first one.
Yeah.
But they are excellent. And I mean, Gary Paulson is great anyway. But I knew that, when I saw them, I knew they were going to be Westerns. And I thought, well, maybe I'll put them off and wait until closer to June.
Yeah.
But I was just really in the mood for these. And so I just blew through all of them in a day, because altogether it's probably 10 hours total. And then I split it up. So
Yeah.
it was like 5 or 6 hours total. So highly recommend those. Now, I would say if you are not a fan of Westerns, give it a try anyway. But Gary Paulson is also, well, he's probably most famous for his book Hatchet. And if you've never read Hatchet,
I've
it's
not.
fantastic. Oh my goodness. It's a survival story about a boy who he's on his, have you heard about it? Do you know about it at all?
I've heard of the title and stuff, and I thought I
Good.
knew it was a survival, but I don't really know much about it.
Yeah. So in a nutshell, this boy, his parents have separated, and so he's on his way to visit his father, and his mother is able to get him a ride on like some kind of a small plane that's like delivering something to like the Canadian North. And so it's just him and the pilot in this small plane, and they're flying over this Canadian wilderness where there's literally nothing for miles and miles and miles. And the pilot has a heart attack and dies. And so the plane goes down. Well, he manages to push the guy aside enough to kind of guide the plane to keep it steady. And then he starts, and I think he says something about, he had been like counting all the lakes, and then all of a sudden when he needs a lake to land in, there's no lake. So he finally sees one off in the distance, and so he aims for that, and he crashes into the lake, and he's able to pull out a few things before it completely submerges. But he's got a hatchet on his belt that his mother had given him as a gift. So he had tied that to his belt.
Which probably comes in handy a lot, I'm sure.
Yeah. So that's why it's called Hatchet. But of course, you'd never be able to travel on a commercial airliner with a hatchet.
Yeah.
But just that little single plane. But yeah, and the cool thing about it is that it's his story. That first book is his story of how he survives and everything. And I'll give you just a spoiler. He does get rescued at the end.
Yeah.
But somebody, I guess, wrote to Gary Paulson and said, what if he didn't get rescued? Could he survive the winter? And so he wrote that book. He wrote an alternate ending called Brian's Winter.
I was going to say, I have heard of Brian's Winter, and I was wondering if that was what it was.
And then there's an actual sequel from what really did happen from the first story that's called The River, or Brian's River or something. And that's about someone who's writing a story, like a book or a news story or something, and they want to shadow Brian and see how he survived. And he's like, it was a fluke, He's like, I don't want to do it again. That was hard, that kind of thing. So they go, anyway, he talks him into doing it.
Surviving when you have to, and then surviving just so somebody can repeat what you're doing. It's two different things.
But then something calamitous happens on that one. Yeah. And so he has to end up not only surviving, but saving this guy who's trying to write a story about him. So the whole series is fantastic. I just love it. I absolutely love it.
I read an airplane accident, middle grade. I think it's Explorers by, I can't remember who the author is, but it has I think there's 3 or 4 kids that are trying to survive in the wilderness and everything.
Okay. It's called, I don't have my phone in here.
I always like those kind of survivor ones, even though sometimes I think, yeah, that probably wouldn't have happened, or that's a little too really out there, but they're still fun.
Yeah, for sure.
It's like this series. It's called the Wild series by Rodman Philbrick, I think.
Oh,
and there's one's about a tidal wave, and I read all 3 of those, and one's a wildfire, and it's some of the stuff that those kids do. It's way so over the top, but they're fun. And
I've read Wildfire. I didn't realize there was more than that. Is the first one Wildfire?
I don't remember if the first one's
because I've read that. That's good.
I feel it's the second one, but I'm not sure.
I read one by him called, I think Freak the Mighty was his
Yeah,
story.
yeah, he's
That's really good.
and it
Uh,
was funny because I found out that same author, like in I think either the late '70s, early '80s, wrote a shark book, an adult shark book. It's kind of like a Jaws called Hunger,
oh,
and I have that book, but
oh,
it
fun.
was like under a different name, I think. But when
Huh.
I was looking it up, it says, writes. I was like, wait a second, he writes for
Oh,
little
okay.
kids.
Okay. Well, that's fun. Um, yeah. He's good. And I really enjoyed Wildfire, and it was intense. I mean,
Yeah,
you
that's why
trying
like
to
they're
escape
really
a
fun. I
wildfire.
mean, some of the stuff it's like, yeah, right. I'm sure that could really happen, but then it's like, hey, it's middle grade, it's fun.
All right, let me read a few comments, and then I would like to hear how your reading is going this month. If you and you could tell me, have you been tortoising or herring?
I've been tearing. I think I'm a little
Herring.
disappointed. If I was herring there for a little bit, and then I kind of got behind. And if you count all of my books, I've read 13 books, but one of those is an adult book, so 12 middle grade books. I mean, it's only the 16th, and I've got like uh one going. Oh, I actually have two going that are middle grade. And I mean, I could, read some short ones and catch up if I wanted to, but I'm just, playing by ear. We'll see how it goes.
Yeah, no, that's awesome. You're doing great. So Esther Jane says, I don't remember, but nothing to know of. Well, I don't want to say it out here because I don't know if you want to divulge your last name. And this author friend of mine has the same last name. So we'll chat some more. Or if you think about it, you can go and look up that email um, and maybe answer back. Because I'm curious if you know if you're related to any authors. It was a guy I went to college with. Um, okay, so Donna says, howdy, Stormy and everyone. And Lisa says, I need to pick up my middle grade book. So you're just going to do one? That's all right. One is all it takes to participate. And not everybody likes to read middle grade.
She's a tortoise.
I'm actually reading some other stuff too.
Yeah.
So that is great. I'm glad that you're participating, even if it's just by reading one book. So tell us what you are going to read. Do you know yet? Or are you just going to go pick something out of the library or what? Let us know. Kim says, hey, y'all. Hey, Kim. Donna says, reading Doll Bones by Holly Black and Mercy Suarez Can't Dance by Meg Medina. So I've read Doll Bones. I didn't love it. It was a Sunshine State
I
book.
didn't like it either.
What?
I didn't care for it much either.
Really? Because I would have kind of thought that because you usually like.
Yeah, usually I do like them, but I don't know. I don't remember what it was about it, but yeah, I think I gave it like 2 stars. It was just okay.
Really? Okay. I'm kind of surprised because I would have thought that would be something that you might like. And then Mercy Suarez Can't Dance. Is that a sequel to? That's not the one that's That's a Newbery winner, right? I think that's a sequel. I think there's a series, and the first one is a Newbery winner. My dog is barking to get back in. So, Storm, tell everybody what you're reading. Excuse me,
Okay.
and I'm gonna go let the dog in.
So everybody probably knows if you watch my dailies, but I am still working on Unplugged by Gordon Corman. And has anybody else read this or Gordon Corman? I've only read one other Gordon Corman book. This is what I'm calling my contemporary book for middle grade May because I don't read a lot of contemporary and everything. And so far, it's not bad. It's about a rich kid who was having to suffer through being at a wellness camp where he had to unplug, so he has no technology and everything. So it's been pretty fun. And I'm also reading on The Fugitive by John Grisham, which is the 5th book in the Theodore Boone series, but I don't have it to like put up here. So, but I just started that one today and everything. But I was saying I was reading Unplugged.
Oh yeah, I saw you talking about that. I've read some Gordon Corman, but I haven't read that one. That one looks cute.
Yeah, I've only read one other one. Kat from Castle of Adventure sent me 3 of Gordon Corman books when she found out I had never read. She's like, I can't believe you've not read this guy. Here you go. And this is one of them. And I enjoyed the first one that I read so I was like, I should put another one of these in. And I could find the audiobook and everything. And it's
Okay, good. I'm trying to think what all I've read by him. I've read a few. My favorite one is probably
Ungifted is the other one that I read by him.
okay. I have not read it. That was the Sunshine State book right before I started reading them. But there was one called Schooled that was about a boy who was homeschooled, but he had to go to middle
Oh,
school, like in real life. I mean, he had been homeschooled up to that point, and so it was kind of culture shock to go to public middle school. That was good.
I said this is my contemporary for middle grade May is what I said, because I don't read a lot of contemporaries, as I've said before, but his contemporaries seem to be kind of like what I like to read. I have like a certain type of contemporary that I like to read. I was going to tell you though, there are 3 books and Wildfire is the first book.
Okay. Oh,
And
great.
so then there's Wild River and Wild Wave, and they're each of them have different kids.
Okay.
And everything.
I need to read those in because I really liked Wildfire. I thought that was excellent. Um, oh, and while we're on the subject of like, because you mentioned what type of middle grade that you liked, I was again sometimes if I don't comment to your daily reading vlog, it's because I'm sometimes listening to it in the car. But I was yelling at my phone the day that you talked about Lions of Little Rock because I think it had come in a haul that somebody gave you, and you're like, I think it's contemporary, and I'm like, no, it's historical, but it's great, it's so good. But I think you meant you didn't like realistic, like you might like more stuff that's like that's like more fantasy.
Well, like this one's it's kind of like where the he's a rich kid who is stuck in a wellness place, and he's kind of the oddball out, and he's sort of making friends because of this or whatever. And like some of the other ones I've read, like it's kind of like a wilderness type but they're kind of contemporary, but they have to do with like the outdoors or something like that. But like the one, like she's reading the Mercy, whatever, can't
Mercy
dance,
Gordon.
things like that, are not really like the kind of contemporary that I would probably gravitate to. So
yeah, no, I get it. But the Lions of Little Rock is based on actual events in the 60s, maybe when they were first starting integration.
Yeah, that's what I saw. That's why I was like, this is contemporary, and I don't think that would be.
But no, it's historical. It's not.
But it's contemporary, historical, kind of the same thing.
Well, no, it's actually opposite. Contemporary to me means that it's modern.
Yeah, but
I think
I guess it depends on.
I'm not a teacher, but I think realistic is what you're talking about because it's realistic. Yeah. But yeah.
Well, yeah, it's just I like historical things, but mine leans towards like historical mysteries, I guess, more.
Yeah.
Or certain type of historical event. But yeah, like that kind of thing.
Yeah.
It would have to be, I would have to try it. And I mean, I might like it, but when I look at it and I read about it, I'm like, that doesn't sound like my kind of book. Put it to the side.
Yeah. No, I get it. It never, I mean, to each his own. But I enjoyed it. I thought it was good. It is historical, and it's set like it's not too far in history. It's like the 60s, but it's about school integration. And this one little girl she is part African American, and she's passing as white, and she becomes friends with another little girl who's white, and
they want to keep being friends when they're not supposed to.
For them, they're just friends, and as it should be. And it's the other people that make a big deal about it. But it's all happening right during when schools are being integrated, and it's happening in Little Rock, which is, I think, where the first group of kids was integrated. Or, well, I don't know. They shut down the high school was shut down because they refused to do it, and it was crazy. So. It's hard to believe that was in my lifetime that happened. Anyway, let's see. Where did we get to? So, and Donna, she did mention farther down about Mercy Suarez. So we'll get to that. Hello, Amber. Amber, I'm almost finished with my Afghan. I wound my yarn yesterday because it was getting like all like loosey-goosey what I had left. And so if you don't know, Amber's doing a thing called Making in May. So it's a craftathon. And so my goal for May was to finish my knitted Afghan that I've been working on for my daughter. Now, as summer is hitting us when she has absolutely no need of it, I'm finally just about done. But it's okay. Okay, so Esther Jane says finished Theodore Boone Abduction. And what number is Abduction? Is that the one you just
I
read too?
think that's number two because I think she just recently told me she finished number two. So
Okay. And just started Operation Happy, a World War II story of courage, resilience, and unbreakable by Jenny Walsh. Nice. That sounds good. Yeah, you don't read a lot of like middle grade World War II. The only one that comes to my mind is the oh, Brubaker Bradley wrote. Kimberly Brubaker Bradley wrote that one about the English kids who were parceled out to like the people in the country to get them out of away from the Blitz. Um,
is that like the orphan train or something?
no, the war that saved my life. That's what
Oh,
it's called. That's a good one. But there's not a lot. And then there's Number of the Stars, which is about a Jewish
did you know
girl.
that has more than one book?
There's which one? This one here that she mentioned, or the
No,
war?
the
The
one that
second
you
one.
mentioned.
It's a duology, right? Yeah, I
I think
haven't
it
read
was
the
the
second one.
War I Finally Won was the second
That's
one.
right. Yeah, I haven't read the second one. One of these days I will. Oh, what was that? That was weird.
It's probably my computer messing up because it does
Oh,
things.
okay. Amby said, "Is My Side of the Mountain part of that, or written by the same author, or anything?" Are you talking about this one, My Side of the
I
Mountain?
think she was talking about the like Brian, the one you were talking about, the Hatchet, or maybe.
Oh, I don't think so. My Side of the Mountain. Let
I
me
know
see.
that's like one from back in that kind of time period, but no, it's somebody different. I think Jean Craighead George or something.
Oh, okay. She's a Newberry Wooding author, but and I haven't read that. That is not the
This
same
is
as
like on
My
the
Ghost
far
from
side of the
Honolulu.
mountain, the frightful mountain.
Yeah, yeah. She wrote Julie of the Wolves. That's a trilogy that I have read. That Julie of the Wolves is a Newberry winner. I haven't read The Mountain. I'm going to put that on my TBR. Thanks for bringing that up, Amber. My Side of the Mountain. I've heard of it. I want to say there was a movie of
I
that.
think so.
So Esther Jane says I was supposed to be a turtle, and now I'm now reading. I think my eighth. That's awesome. Good job.
Yeah, she's doing really good.
That's
She's read
great.
a lot.
And Donna says, I've been reading some children's illustrated books as well by Jory John, Eric Carl, Meg Medina, and others. Also, some Caldecott winners. Great.
Mm.
Yeah, I have finished reading. Emily and I have read the Caldecott from the 2020, no, from the 2010s. And I'm going to probably try to do a video on those before the month is out. And then just yesterday, we picked up 2020 through 2024, and the 2025 winner had been on back order, but we went and talked to the children's librarian, and she's like, "Oh, let me look that up." She's like, "Yeah, I had it on my back order list, but it's available now." So she ordered it, so we'll be able to catch up to the present, which is good. Hey, Paula, how are you doing? She said, "I'm about to start Ramona the Brave. I'm rereading the books to see if they hold up. There's something about her that brings out my bratty, rebellious side."
Yeah, those are ones that I remember reading whenever I was a kid too,
Is
Ramona.
that Cleary, Beverly Cleary?
Yeah.
Okay. I'm actually listening to The Mouse and the Motorcycle right now, and that's Beverly Cleary.
Yeah,
And
I seen you held that up and I was like, I want that.
I, well, you can have it when I'm done.
Because
The Mouse
yeah,
and
the
Motorcycle.
mouse that was one that I remember reading whenever I was a kid.
Yeah, my copy is banged up, but you're welcome to it.
Yeah.
In fact, speaking of sending you stuff, I still have your box in here. I kind of got sidetracked with going through and getting all my stuff inventoried because I keep like as I go through each box, I sometimes pull stuff out to put it in your box, and so I'm trying to get through all of it, and I'm close. I only have a few
Oh, that's
boxes left
cool.
to go through, and still a little space in your.
It'll be a fun little surprise, and maybe by the time you get done, it's going to be my birthday because it's in
Yeah,
July. So.
yeah. I'll definitely try to get it done by then for sure. So, and it's a large box. um, all right. So Esther Jane says Unplugged is my next. Okay, I feel like I've read that one. That is that Gordon Corman?
That's the one that I.
Okay, yeah, duh, yeah. Oh, my phone's ringing, but it'll just have to ring. Okay, so Mercy Suarez changes gears was the Newbery winner. Can't Dance is number 2, and Mercy Squares Plays It Cool is number 3. Wow, that's a bigger series than I thought. And is Plays It Cool the one you're reading right now, or is it a different one? No, Can't Dance.
Yeah, she's
Okay,
like,
so Can't Dance is number 2, and then there's a third one. Okay, so you're
I
reading.
feel like Sherry has read that series because those sound the names like they sound familiar.
It's on my coming up soon list because I think it's the winner from 2019, maybe, and I'm reading the 2010 Newberries right now. I'm rereading a couple of them and finishing up reading the ones that I hadn't read. So that's what this one is right here. I had read this before on audio, Moon Over Manifest.
Yeah.
I like it fine, and I think Esther Jane read it too, or she's reading it right now. Esther Jane, what do you think about it? I don't know if I would agree that it should be the Newbery winner. And I looked at the honor books for that year, and there's like 4 honor books for this the same year as this one, and I've read 2 of them, and I liked both of them. I mean, maybe equally, I guess, but I don't know.
I
Sure.
feel like that. I don't know how they pick those.
I think it's a
But
committee.
yeah, but it's like they try to go with the one that nobody wants to read or something. I don't know. It just I try. Well, see, I'm like I wouldn't. You're doing really good about that. I would probably be DNFing things right and left or whatever because I think the Westing game was that a Newbery winner.
Okay. The Weston game is, yeah. Okay,
Yeah, and I couldn't make it through it.
sorry, she just barged right in here on camera. Unless you want to say hi, you want to wave and say hi to everybody. It's my daughter Emily. In case
Hi,
you don't
Emily.
know. She just turned her 24th birthday, and
Awesome.
she has autism and epilepsy, and she's not able to talk. Can I put that in for you when I get done here? Okay, when I get done here. But meanwhile, you can watch Max and Ruby for right now. Okay, and then we'll do SpongeBob after that. Okay, thank you. Okay, you can go back in your room and watch, and I'll be in there in a little bit. Anyway, so yeah, so some of them are not great.
I
Some
tried the Westing game because everybody loves that one and such a great mystery or what. I was so bored. I was
yeah,
like, I don't get why do people like this?
yeah, I didn't care for it that much. And I'll tell you, if you want that premise, but a really good book, is the first 39 Clues, called Maze
Yeah,
of
I've always wanted to try that series, but
That's
I've never
great.
tried it.
And Rick Riordan wrote Maze of Bones.
Yeah.
It's a multi-author series, but Rick Riordan wrote the first one, and it's good. And it's that situation where somebody has died and they've left a movie, and they tell everybody who
And
is
I've read that premise in some other books that I've found a little bit more interesting than the Westing game. So I mean, it's probably like one of the first ones that came out with it, but people perfected it a little bit better maybe, and I just prefer the newer ones to like the old ones.
yeah. It's
Which happens, yeah.
yeah. To me, the premise is good for Westing game, but it didn't really. I don't know. It didn't pay off as well as you would hope. But did you tell what all else you were reading? Did you get to finish and say what all you're currently reading right now as far as middle
Yeah,
grade?
because as far as middle grade, I only have 2 going. So yeah,
Oh, okay.
I talked about what I was reading.
And what's your total book count done for the month? Have you
For
added it up lately?
for middle grade, I have 12.
No, for the whole
For
month.
the whole month, I have 13.
Oh, nice. Good job. Good job. So, if y'all don't know, I'm working on actually a double list. I'm doing children's books with my daughter. We read 10 Caldecott winners, one book that was just randomly laying around. And then now we've been reading Beatrix Potter, but we just finished the last Beatrix Potter that we're going to do for this year. And we have a little nutshell library from Maurice Sendak, and then some other random stuff to finish out the month. So my goal is to do 31 books with her, one a day, and then 31 other books of my own. So by today, by the end of today, which is the 16th, I should have finished 32. And I think I'm already on like 35 because I was a little bit behind before I got to these. And I'm counting in all the children's books and everything. And then today I've already finished. We did our book this morning, and then I already finished my audiobook today, which was Don't You Dare Read This, Mrs. Dumfries. It's kind of sad. It's about a girl. It's by Margaret Peterson Haddix, and
Oh yeah.
she's tough on her characters. I mean, she's not afraid to have characters die or get killed or all this.
Yeah,
And
I've read some of her stuff, but I
it's good.
most of the stuff I've read from her is like more like contemporary sci-fi-ish type.
Okay, have you read like Found and Scent and
Mhm.
that one? Have you read
No,
that?
and I have some of her books, like some parts of a series I found at the library, that I think have to do with maybe that found and
Okay.
things.
I
But
tried that one. It was just a little too far fetched, but the for
I've,
me, I may go back to it, but
I've read the Greystones or
I don't know that one.
um, Greystone Secrets. I think it is.
Oh,
It's
I don't know.
kind of a parallel universe type
Okay,
story or whatever, and it was a trilogy.
okay. Uh, the series by her I've read is the Shadow Children, which is Among the Brave, Among the Hidden, Among the Barons, all of that. I've read all those, and she's got a standalone. Well, okay, I thought it was a standalone, but just recently I happened to look it up, and there's a sequel now, which I'm dying to read now. But there's one called Running Out of Time, and it's about this girl who lives in a. Um,
I've seen that at the thrift store.
it's so good. So she thinks she lives in like 1700 and something, but she doesn't. She actually lives in like this museum, a living museum. Like the parents of all these kids signed up to be a part of it, um, and they don't realize that they're being watched. Like people are coming in and watching them, and the people who are coming in and watching don't even realize that these people don't get to go home at night, that they actually are living here. So these people are living like it's 1800s or something, and they
Weird.
start dying. So people are getting sick and dying, and they're not sending in medicine. So the mother, she pulls out of her bottom trunk or something this old pair of jeans that she had when she had come in there. And of course jeans are not allowed because that's and she tells her daughter how to sneak out. She said, here, put these jeans on, you've got to sneak out and you've got to get us help. And I mean, it is fantastic. It's so intense. And I mean,
Okay, so see, I've seen it at the thrift store, and the
good.
cover didn't appeal to me.
The cover's not great, but it's
So
such a good book.
okay,
Yeah, I love it. And there's a sequel now, so I need to get that. But yeah, it's kind of like The Village. Did you ever see that movie, The Village? M Night
yes,
Shyamalan.
right, yeah, where
Only
they
those people weren't being watched. They just chose to live that way on purpose without and have privacy. These people agreed to do this, but the kids don't know it. They just go to school. They go to this like
I don't
pioneer
know
kind
if
of
you've
school.
seen this cover.
What is it called?
This is The Strangers. It's the first book in the Greystone Secrets. That's the
Oh, okay.
one.
Yeah, I need to add that. Hang on, let me add that to my.
It has little kids walking on the top and little kids walking on the bottom, kind of like it's a parallel kind of. That's why it's kind of sci-fi mystery
Okay.
because yeah,
Yeah, I have never heard of that. I don't even think I've seen that in our store. Oh, fun.
one
Yeah, I'm gonna
the
get that.
one kid, and it's multiple POVs with the kids. There's like three, and they're like watching the news, and like all of a sudden they hear about three kids that have the exact same names that they do, the exact same like birth dates that they have, and they're like, wait, what's going on? And then their mother goes missing, and so they're trying to figure out where did their mother go and what happened. And so,
Huh. Oh yeah, I'm reading about it right now. Yeah, that looks good. I'm definitely want to read that. I added it to my Goodreads. Very cool. All right, let me go back to the comments real quick. So, Donna says, liking doll bones for so far for what it is. All right, cool. And Amy
I
says,
think with the dull bones, I felt like the characters were doing some dumb things. I think
oh, yeah.
it was just like,
So Donna says, just put the 5 Tucket books by Paulson on the library ebook
oh,
or drive wish list for June. Yay. Yeah,
yeah.
so Donna, that'll be some quick and easy June on the Range books for you. Very cool. So Esther Jane says, this starts 1940 Pearl Harbor. Happy as a dog. Okay, but the author says at the beginning the dog is okay. Okay, that's good because some people won't read books if they think there's any
Yeah,
danger.
there's like even a website or whatever it is. Is I don't know what if it's called like Does the Dog Die or something like that, where you can look up your book or movie or something
Okay.
like that. I think and find out if it happens or not, so that you know.
Oh, that's good. Yeah. Oh, that's funny.
And my friend uses it all the time because she will dock stars if a dog dies.
Really? Oh my
Hmm.
goodness. Or and really a cat too.
Yeah.
I would probably
Yeah, and
not
she
smart
doesn't
for
like
a cat.
animals at all, pretty much. But we're dog people mostly, so it's like if the dog, she can handle it a little bit more if it's like a cat or whatever. But if it's the dog,
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah, because if we're like buddy reading to something and something happens to an animal or whatever, it'd be like heads up, something happens, and she's like, okay, at least I'm prepared now or whatever, you know. And she'll continue reading it, but she will if it's depending on how it's done, she will dock stars, half stars, full stars, depending on. So it's like you would have got 5 stars, but you had to kill the dog.
Yeah. When I was a kid and my dad was talking about westerns, when my dad would be watching western movies, I was always more worried about the horses,
Yeah,
because they'd shoot somebody and
yeah,
then them and their horses would fall, and I'm still not sure if way back then some of those horses didn't get hurt because they didn't have the same kind of animal laws that we do now.
yeah.
Anyway, Amby says, I loved My Side of the Mountain. I think I watched the movie when I was a kid. Yeah, I need to look that up. That does look good. Love the book. So you read the books when you were a kid. That's awesome. And so now Donna is talking about some Caldecott winners, Hello Lighthouse, Finding Winnie, and Radiant Child. So Donna, I just recently read or heard something about there's going to be a movie about Jean Michel Bas. I think it's Basquiat or Basquiat, I think. Somebody, I'm always like looking at entertainment news and stuff, and somebody had been cast to play him in a movie about him, and that's what Radiant Child is about. An artist. I think
You
it's
just reminded me of something.
Del Basquiat is his name. And
Did
then I'm sorry.
I was gonna say, did you see where they're going to be rebooting Little House on the Prairie?
Yes, I don't know how I feel about it yet. We'll
Yeah,
see.
I was like,
He's still
oh, I've
not
got to get like Elizabeth's input on that because that makes me mad. I'm not even a big a fan.
I mean, maybe it'll bring a whole new generation of readers
Maybe.
to the show. I mean, to the books, but still, I feel like even today's generation of kids still watch the old
Yeah.
show. At least some
And
do.
I'm just partial to the old show, so I'm just like, I don't know.
Yeah.
But
So this book, Finding Winnie, is about a real bear who was the inspiration for Winnie the Pooh.
oh,
So
cool.
yeah, and it is really neat how that all came about.
I
So
watched the movie, was it Christopher Robbins or whatever movie that they had about the guy
oh
who wrote Winnie the Pooh and stuff.
oh okay. And did it talk about him visiting a bear in the zoo?
I
That,
think so.
okay, because I have not actually seen that movie, but the
I can't remember. It's been a while, but I
man,
remember something about a bear, a real bear is what he got.
yeah, it was a real bear. The man who owned the original Winnie the Pooh, who rescued him as a bear cub, his granddaughter is the one who wrote this story, and he ended up taking. So he found him when they were having he was in basic training to go to World War II, and so he rescued him and he had him there at their camp. And then eventually, when they were going to get shipped out, he found a place at a zoo that he could leave him. And then he said, he was just happy there, and he ended up leaving him there. And that's how A. Milne brought his son Christopher there. But there's pictures because I guess, again, this is way back in the day. Um, I don't know how they decided it was okay for Christopher Robin to actually have a physical contact with this bear, but I guess because he had just been raised from a cub, he was super friendly. And so somehow Christopher Robin was actually able to just meet him, pet him, hug him, like know him, physically, and be in the enclosure with him, which is just wild. But
Well, it's kind of like the things that we would be like
yeah,
today. They, was didn't really think a lot about or something. It's like riding in the back of a truck or whatever.
right.
We used to do that all the time. We never thought about what happens if we wreck and we all go flying.
My husband tells stories about riding in their Suburban because my father-in-law raised bees, and they didn't have an open pickup. They had a Suburban that was enclosed. So and they had 4 kids. And Randy said that Papa would load up the bees, to when he'd get ready to move them, he'd just load them all in the back of the Suburban with him and all the kids. And he's like, they're back in the back getting stung by bees and all this stuff, while they're transporting the bees to wherever they had to go.
Yeah.
And I was like, were you okay? He's like, oh yeah, it's fine. But oh my goodness.
Built up immunity to him, so
I
see.
guess. I think so. Thankfully he wasn't allergic. And I don't think that honeybees sting as bad
Yeah, I
as
don't think so.
bumblebees.
Yeah.
Maybe. I mean, I don't know. So S. Jane said, I tried but couldn't get into it. Now I don't know
Wait,
what.
that one you're reading that
This
you
one?
said you thought she had been reading, you held it up and you said you were reading it, Newberry
Oh.
Winter or something, or
Oh, okay. Okay. Yeah, because she
yeah.
had said
I
she was
think
reading.
that's the one she was talking about.
Okay. Well, and Esther Jane, and that is no problem. Whenever you were asking for recommendations, this wasn't necessarily my recommendation. It's just what I was reading. But she did read the one I recommended, because I saw where she had asked Lee in a comment that she
Yeah.
wanted to read a recommendation from each of us. And so I
Yeah,
said, well,
she asked me for some, and I gave her Theodore Boone this one.
okay, good. And so what I told her then, because I knew she had said she'd read Moon Over Manifest, but I was thinking, okay, but that's not my recommendation. I don't know if it's how good it is, but my recommendation is the Summer I Saved the World in 65 Days by
Yeah.
Michelle Weber.
Yeah, I remember she was
She
reading
did
that.
read it. She said she really liked that one. So it's good. I promise if everybody would read that, we would achieve world peace. That is the best book. It is so good. All right. So then Amy says, a middle grade I read in school and loved was The Giver. Yes. Haven't read any of the sequels.
I've never read that.
It's great. I absolutely love it. And I love all the sequels. And of all the Newbery winners, that one is my top right now. That gets the award for my favorite. And I'm thinking that I may rank them when I get all done with at least like the first 100. I will rank them just for my own personal, just for fun. I mean, I'll do a video about it, but I think it'd be
Well,
fun.
it'd be fun to see like what your top favorite ones
Yeah.
are.
Yeah.
And which ones you'll be like, I don't know why this is a winner, because
there are several. Yeah. And then there are some that were probably okay in their time. They just haven't held up,
held up very well. Yeah.
with their, like there's one called the Matchlock Gun that's just all about them, killing Indians and, just worried about the savages and all that. And so it's like, okay,
Well, it's like me. I'm currently, one of the books that I'm reading that's not a middle grade is the second Sackett book. By Louis L'Amour. I'm trying to get it done because I'm like, these are not westerns. I thought Sackett was supposed to be westerns. What in the world? They're like,
so is it like their
Robin
ancestors?
Hood on the front. What?
Is it like their ancestors? The first couple of books is like where they started.
Yeah, because it starts. The first two books starts out with Barnabas Sackett, and he comes from England over to America and everything. And so the first two books are about him and the trouble that he gets into and why he has to flee from England and come to America. And then after that, so I thought, well, the third one, I said, well, it's called like the Warrior's Path or something. So I'm like, that sounds more like a western. And then I was telling one of the hosts, and they're like, yeah, I really like number 3. It's western, but it's got pirates too. And I was like, really? When are we going to get to like the actual westerns or whatever? It's like, because you always think of it, it's Louis L'Amour. I always thought Louis L'Amour, all he did was westerns, but I found out whenever I got from this lady at the thrift store, she gave me some books, and in it was a bunch of his short stories, and they're adventure short stories. And I was like, I didn't know he did adventure. Which makes sense whenever you're reading the first part of the Sacketts, because they are more or less adventures. So I figured, well, I'll read it for spring into adventure, and then I can do that third one for June on the Range.
Yeah, there you go. Good. I have already.
It has some language in it that you're like, I'm sure a lot of people wouldn't care for too much these days or whatever.
Like derogatory terms and things. Yeah. But it's product of its time. When I was growing up, I remember we had a few of the boys in my class. I remember like in later elementary and middle school, we called it junior high back then, but they were not big readers. But if they read anything, it was a Louis L'Amour paperback. They would a lot of times have those Louis L'Amour books hidden behind their textbooks, and be reading those.
So I grew up with my grandfather reading those and everything. So whenever it came to trying a western, that was the first person I thought about. It's like, try it was, because I have not read many westerns. I'm not very well versed in westerns. I grew up watching them with my father, but I not really read them. And see, Dad doesn't read, so
Oh, done.
he just watches. He loves to watch westerns and things like that, but he was never a book reader. He thought he would try, and he had me get him a couple of Louis L'Amour at the used bookstore once. I used some of my credit,
Uh
and all
huh.
I did was sat there and collected dust. He never read. He's like, oh, I tried, but he's just one of those that he can't concentrate. He read a paragraph, and then you have to read the paragraph over again, and then you have to read it because he just couldn't get past the paragraph. He's like, I can't do it. He just can't concentrate. I got my love of reading from my mom and not my dad.
Oh, well, and so it's attention. Like if you tried reading it
Mhm.
to him, he still wouldn't.
Well, I
Wouldn't.
told him he should try audiobooks. He's never tried audiobooks because I
Yeah,
thought, you might like the audiobooks, but I just haven't got him to try one. But
yeah. And I think that, like on Libby, there's some Louis L'Amour on my Libby. I don't know. There probably is on yours too. I listened last year. I listened to Hondo, which was pretty good. I haven't tried Sackett's, but for this year, I'm going to go back to the Preacher series, which is the first Mountain Man series by Johnstone, and
Johnstone.
I'm going to pick back up it because I have several of those, and I'm really in the mood for those. So I want to just try to zip through as many of those as I can. And then I have. Let me show you. I have some westerns that the older brother of one of my high school classmates wrote some westerns, and I'm from Oklahoma, and they're not in print anymore. But he sent me these a few years ago because he dedicated one of them to my dad, who was one of his teachers, and I haven't read any of them. But this is the one I think that he dedicated to my dad. Vengeance is mine,
That's cool.
and he signed them all. Let's see. Yeah. It says this work is dedicated to the late Charles Rudolph Jones, a childhood friend and teacher who taught me that there's no shame in cowboys following scholarly pursuits as well as cattle. So, because my dad was a teacher and also a cattleman. Um,
That's cool.
that's not, so I actually have three of them. I thought I had four, and then here's the other two. And I haven't read any of these, so I want to at least read the one that's dedicated to my dad. This one's called For Everything a Season, and then Pray for the Prey.
That's cool.
So,
I always said we lived on a non-working farm. That's kind of what I grew up with. We had all kinds of animals from cows to goats and anything in between,
yeah,
chickens, all that stuff. But we didn't make money off the farm. We weren't a working farm. It was just
like a hobby farm kind of.
that kind of that's how they
Yeah,
raise their own meat and get eggs from the chickens and stuff. Which
right.
I wish we had some chickens. That's what I.
Yeah, we never had chickens. We had cattle, and we kind of used those to supplement our income. My parents were both teachers, but and we occasionally had a horse. Sometimes we had horses, not a whole lot, just because my dad would just like to ride them in parades and stuff. So he liked to do that. All right, so let's see. So we already read this one about the giver. Let me find where we are. And then Amby says, I love Beatrix Potter. The only one I'd ever read, Beatrix Potter, was Peter Rabbit, because I think that's the most
Yeah,
famous one.
and I know all about Peter Rabbit, and I've watched cartoons about Peter Rabbit and movies about Peter Rabbit. I'm just not really sure if I can remember if I read the book, but I'm pretty sure. I mean, I probably did.
Yeah,
I read a ton of books when I was a kid and everything, but I just can't remember
yeah.
the books. Half the books that I read, I just can't remember.
He was this little rabbit that was always getting into Mr.
In
McGregor's
trouble.
garden, and he had
Yeah.
Flopsy, Mopsy, and Cottontail were his.
Yeah, and it's like and I know
Siblings.
like the song, and here comes Peter Cottontail. But I don't remember the books.
Yeah, yeah. And she says, my other favorite male grade is Every Soul a Star. Oh, that's good to know because I actually have that on my TBR for
I
this
don't know
month.
that
So
one.
it's by Wendy Mass, I think. And
Sounds contemporary.
I think it is. Yeah, it is. Let me see. Every Soul a Star. Yeah, Wendy Mass. I don't know what it's about, but I
That
have it.
name sounds familiar though.
Well, she has a series that I love that has a little bit supernatural, and it starts with 11 birthdays, I think is what it's called. And it's got a little bit of it's a little bit magical. And so this one may be as well. I want to try something just because I don't. I've done this when I'm on Tiffany's channel, but let me try sharing my screen and
Mhm.
y'all can see, and then you can see it. There. Can you see that? Did
No,
that come up?
no.
No. Hmm. So I wonder what I have to do to share it. Yeah, I did. Every solo star. It's there, isn't it?
But
You see
I
every
don't
solo
see
star?
anything, but I think maybe I don't know if I'm frozen. So I don't know.
Oh, okay. Because when I went back to StreamYard, I see it. Anyway, it's just the book, Every Solo Star. Well, that's weird that you're frozen. Anyway, I was
You can
just,
hear me, but I can see that I'm frozen on the screen anyway.
oh, because I can see you moving.
Really? No, my
So
screen
maybe
is
it's,
frozen, so that's probably why I can't see whatever it was you did.
that's
Because
weird. Okay. Well, anyway, I'll
it's
stop.
my computer.
Oh, so Esther Jane says nope to Little House remake.
Yeah, man.
And Kim says not interested in Little House remake.
I
I'll
figured
watch.
a lot of people wouldn't. You know, it's one of those things. I'll give the first one a try, but see, I'm really I'm if something's so good, don't remake it is my kind of thing. And like I've not watched the new Magnum PI, and I will not watch the new Magnum PI because no, you cannot replace Tom Selleck. I'm sorry.
I know. I
So,
know. I
what
I
I would when I first saw that, the first thing I thought about was Elizabeth Hobbs.
was you. That was what? Oh, the Little House. Yeah. Well, talking about Magnum PI, my husband was watching that one day, and I just kind of walked through the room, and I was like, "Oh," I said, "Is this that new Magnum PI?" And I was just kind of looking. He was identifying the characters, and he's like, "You'll never believe who that is." It was looking at
Higgins is a
the
girl.
female, and I was like, "That's
Yeah,
not Robin, is it?" Or not Robin, but yeah, Robin, right?
yeah,
Yeah,
Robin Higgins. Yeah,
yeah, Higgins. That's what I'm thinking. Higgins. I'm like, it's not
Higgins. Yeah.
Higgins, is it? He's like, "Yeah, Higgins is a girl." I was like, "Oh, for goodness
Yeah.
sakes."
Yeah, I was like, no, when I saw that too, I was like, nope, nope, nope.
So Amby says The Giver is so good. Storm, you need to read it. I concur. You should read it. It's very good.
Yeah, maybe I'll try it one of these days.
Yeah, and I'm sure it's on audio. Esther Jane says I have read one from each host and a few more of their suggestions. Awesome. Well, thank you for doing that. That's very supportive of you. Amby says same here. Mom's a reader and Dad is not at all. My dad read some, but he didn't have a lot of time. But I have a couple of books. I have some of his
And
Zane Grey
you know,
books.
on the other side, like my dad's parents, my grandpa was a reader and read all, like I said, the westerns and all that stuff. I
Hmm.
don't think I ever seen my grandma pick up a book.
Really, she was probably busy. She
Yeah,
probably had a lot of stuff to do. So, and Amby says that's how Nana and Poppy were. They had all kinds of animals. Yeah. And you see, oh, you see, okay, good. Thank you. Yeah, I think Storm was just having technical issues.
yeah. Because
So,
now I'm wiggling, I can move around, but yeah, before it froze up.
and I could see you moving, but you couldn't
That's
see
weird.
yourself.
Yeah, it's this computer. It's old. It's cantankerous.
And so now she says I might give it a try, and I'm not sure what. Because Amber, you were telling her you were telling Storm to read The Giver. Oh, the Little House remake is what she's about. Hang on one second.
Okay. Yeah, I think the only remake that I liked out of any shows was Hawaii Five O, and I think it's because I wasn't attached to the original Hawaii Five O.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Like
That was
I'd
pretty good. I'm
seen
like,
episodes of it, but
I
I
watched
wasn't
that.
attached to it. So
And she says I haven't watched the new Magnum. I mean, it's old now. It's been around a while,
yeah.
but yeah, nothing will compare to Tom
And
Selleck.
I do think that like the new MacGyver was okay, but it was never going to be like the other one. But the guy they tried to get a guy that was kind of looked a little like
Okay, yeah,
him.
I didn't know there was a new MacGyver. And Kim, I didn't know there was a new Matlock. I love Matlock.
Yeah,
Who
I
is
won't watch that either because it's a female Matlock.
who's doing it?
Kathy Bates, I think.
Oh, maybe I did read something about that. Now I might watch Kathy Bates do Matlock, but I don't know though. There-
Um,
I know it's like why we got to
and
mess
it's
with everything.
well, and it's like with the whole remaking things. I'm all fine with wanting to remake things, but how about remake something that nobody's ever heard of? I mean, there are several like shows and things. I'll be
because
on
they
like
think
some of these
maybe
free
those
things.
wouldn't.
I've never even heard of these shows before. It's like, why don't you try doing one of those and making it a little bit better, making it different, or whatever. And the same with movies. Like there are so many movies out there that were duds that didn't really go very far. They didn't make it. Why don't you try taking that and redoing something? Why do you pick the good ones, the ones that everybody loves, and then nobody wants to watch that?
Maybe they feel like if nobody wanted to watch it the first time, then surely nobody will want to watch it the second time.
Well, I figure with the technology nowadays, they could probably make some of those older ones like a whole lot better.
That's true. Yeah, I don't know. I don't
Or
know.
take some of those old, like the horror movies, like take some of those old like black and white horror movies, and update them and stuff,
Yeah.
instead of like remaking Halloween how many times or whatever. I mean,
I'll tell you the best way to watch an old horror movie is that Mystery Science Theater 3000. Did
oh,
you
yeah.
ever see that? I used to love that show.
I
That
haven't
was
watched it, but I've seen it on there. But I love watching
so
like old
fun.
horror movies because they're so comical to me.
Yeah.
But
Well, and that's what they would do on
yeah,
MST3K. They would just sit and make fun of it
yeah.
and do commentary on it. And it was hilarious. Oh my goodness. That was such a fun show. Amber says, might give New Little House a chance. And I've heard it's good. And I'm assuming you're talking about the Little House. Yeah, I don't know even who's starring in it or anything. And is it on yet? Has it started yet? Or they
Well,
just
she could be talking about the Matlock that she would
She might
want.
be talking about Matlock, yeah, or Magnum. I don't know. So Amber, you got to be specific when we're talking about 5 things. SJ says I will only watch Anna Green Gables with Megan Follows. Yeah, Megan Follows is amazing, but Anne with an E is okay. But they tried to kind of insert some modern day
Yeah.
social agenda into it, which I kind of wish they wouldn't, just
I
because.
don't like that.
I,
It drives me crazy.
yeah, yeah. But I'll tell you what is a really good Esther Jane. Try the PBS version that has Martin Short as Matthew. That's actually really good. I like it.
I need to try another Anna Green Gables. I've only read the first one now. I read that one I think last year for something. Oh, I think for the Moore Montgomery.
Okay,
One
yeah,
book.
you read the
I think
first
yeah.
hand. I got to turn my fan up some. It is getting really hot. I
Maybe
have,
it wasn't last year. It was the year before. Because last year I read The Blue Castle by that author. So,
and
but
that
I'm
was
like, I really need to get to the other one before I forget what Anne's all about. So.
yeah, all of her books are really good.
And then maybe I'd watch. But basically when it comes down to watching Anna Green Gables, it would probably be whichever one I could find free. And a lot of times the good ones are never free.
Yeah, well, and the Megan Follows ones are on Sullivan Entertainment, but the PBS ones, which is the one that Martin, not Martin, did I say Martin Short? No, Martin. Oh my gosh, Martin Sheen. Yeah, the ones that Martin Sheen is in are on Hoopla, and there's 3 of them. And whereas like the Anna Green Gables with Megan Follows, the first one follows the first book, the second one mostly follows the second book, and the third one goes off into another direction. The one with Martin Sheen, that's kind of 3 movies for the first book.
Oh, okay.
So
Like a
there's
mini series that they like.
yeah, for the first book of the series. Yeah, yeah.
Is Anne of Avonlea
Anne of Avonlea book 2.
different?
That's book 2 of Anna Green Gables. Anne of Avonlea.
Because like I remember a show called.
Road to Avonlea is different. Road to Avonlea is based on the characters from the Story Girl.
Oh, okay.
Different. It's a duology written by Lucy Maud Montgomery. The Story Girl and the Golden Road are the books that inspired Road to Avonlea. And Disney re-released them in the U.S. under the name Tales from Avonlea, but it's the same. And they didn't release as many. I think there's like 9 seasons in Canada. And all of that stuff is streaming on Sullivan Entertainment, which I think is like its own thing. But they have not only all of the Lucy Maud Montgomery, but they have some other stuff too. They are just a really good, like, they're kind of like the hallmark of Canada, sort of. That kind of, but not as big maybe. So let me see, where did I get to?
Esther Jane cracks me up.
So here's where I was. She said I'll only watch Anna Green Gables with Megan Follows, and Amby says same here, and Kim says same. And so, oh, Amy was talking about Matlock, that
So I
she
thought maybe
heard that Matlock was good. Well, I hope it is. I hope it is.
he's not going to get hurt of me. Nope.
You don't want it either. Oh yeah, Kim, she loved it. It was C3K. I do too. It's great. So I said Martin Short, Amy, but I meant Martin Sheen, and I'm sorry. Yeah, Martin Short would be a whole different. He would make the character of Matthew a whole lot different. And no, I have not seen Grace and Frankie. I don't think.
Yeah, I think Matthew was my favorite character out of the whole thing. I think.
Yeah, yeah. So yeah, Martin Sheen, who is Emilio Estevez's father and Charlie Sheen's father. That is the
I like Martin Sheen.
Yeah. Oh, so you were talking about Martin Sheen, not Short. Okay, I know. Well, you did the same thing as me. One Martin's as good as another, right? I'm just kidding. I know. I'm forever getting my
two totally different
wrong things come out of my mouth.
Actor types too.
Yeah, two totally different types. Storm the series would be at the library on DVD.
I said she cracks me up because she always reminds me that I need to go to the library.
Yeah, it probably would be.
And it's probably true. See, and she's the only reason, like, half the time I go to the library to check the DVDs because she reminds me to go. Because I forget about that I can go to the library and get DVDs.
Esther Jane, I have a box set on VHS, and I played them not that long ago for Emily in her room because she's got a VCR.
She doesn't stream anything; she watches her stuff on DVD.
Yeah, that's
and
good.
So whenever I'm always like talking about like Acorn TV and things like that, she's like, "Well, I've watched such and such. It's at the library on DVD." And I'm like,
good job.
Well, instead of paying for these things, I just need to go check the library.
Right? Exactly. Amy says, have you ever seen, I think it's called The Inheritance. It's a movie based on a book by Ellen Montgomery. The Inheritance. I don't know of a book.
I've watched a movie called The Inheritance, but I don't know if it's the same one.
Yeah, and I don't know if it's Amber, I have read everything published by Lucy Maud Montgomery, and I don't recognize anything called The Inheritance unless they change.
I think The Inheritance, I thought it was Louisa May Alcott.
Okay, maybe. I don't know. Look it up and see. So, I didn't finish telling y'all. So let me go off of here. I didn't finish telling y'all what I am reading. So I already showed this. So I have 4 books that I'm reading in print, and then I've got 2 ebooks, and then my devotional stuff. Now Emily's come back in here again, wanting SpongeBob. Sorry. Okay, so I'm reading this one, Moon Over Manifest by Claire Vanderpool. And then I'm reading, this is what I want to talk about too. Is anybody else reading Aesop's Fables? This is our group.
I have not, no.
It's on Audible Plus. I mean, there's different audio versions. I don't know if it has all of them. I don't even know if this book has all of them. There's like 200 and something fables in this book alone. It's very interesting, and it's super easy to read. It's a quick read. I'm just reading like 5 a day, and they're just like little 1-page things. Excuse me. I meant to, before I got on here, though, I meant to go to Beth's Discord and see if anybody had been chatting about it, because I have not been on there yet to make any comments. So if you go on Beth's channel, she should have a link somewhere on her channel for her Discord. Yeah. And that's where we're supposed to discuss Aesop's Fables. So let us know in the comments if there's anybody reading those. And then these are both books that authors sent me, and they're totally different. I said this was biblical fiction. This is not biblical fiction. This is old Florida fiction. It is It is Christian fiction. It's based on it is faith-based, but it's set in 1562 Florida.
Oh, wow,
and cool. These people start out in France, and then they take a ship over to Florida to try to start a settlement. And I think it's based on some real events. People, maybe not real people, but it like happened that way. Like there's some truth to it. It's not just totally fiction. But it's about a 12-year-old
fictionalized history.
What?
It's a fictionalized history.
Yeah. And it apparently has gotten some awards and been nominated, and it's really good. I'm I just started it a few days ago, and I'm already almost halfway done, and I'm enjoying it a lot. It's by Jared Acuna, and it's called All Battles End at Sunset. So it was a finalist for the Christian Indie Awards, and it got the Literary Titan Book Award. And then there's a medal here that says Reader's Favorite, 5 stars. I'm not sure where. I'm not sure like who awards that, but anyway, that was good. And then a few years ago, the author of this book sent me this one, S.P. O'Farrell. There he is, and both of these are signed by the author and everything. But this is called Simone Lefray and the Chocolatier's Ball, and this, if you like Framed by James Ponti, this
Uh-huh.
girl is kind of like a spy. Her mother's a spy, or she's kind of a covert operative, sort of. And she's almost kind of a savant in that she's not like autistic, but she has, it's like she counts everything and she notices everything, all the details, kind of like on Psych, how he's like super
Mhm.
observant and can just notice
Yeah. That
everything
sounds
all
like
around.
it might be pretty good.
Yeah, it is. It's very short too. It's only 100 and something pages. When I get done, I'll send it to you. Um, it's 138 pages, and it's a beautiful book too. So,
Yeah, it looks pretty.
yeah, yeah, and it's set in France. Obviously, set in France. This girl's father owns a patisserie, and her and her sister, her younger sister, help out in the patisserie, and their mother is a spy. Or something to that effect. Like she's always going off, and jet setting off, and you can't ever tell them where she is.
I
And
was
all
gonna say like maybe they don't know that she's like a spy or something.
no, they know.
Oh, they do.
They just don't know where she is.
They just don't know.
And yeah, so, and I don't think spy is the right word. She works for like an organization that does all kinds of crazy things. So right now, what the thing is here is that they are worried that there's this international thief who they're worried is going to try to break in and steal a painting from a museum. And so they have her like staking out at the museum just because nobody would suspect that a child would have any, would care. So they figured that since she's a child, she
Yeah,
can, and she's really good at seeing things and watching things, that she can maybe help stop it before he is
that's
actually
cool.
able to do it. Yeah. So I'm enjoying that. That's good. So those are my 4 that I'm reading in print. And then I've tried to do at least one audiobook a day. And I'm reading 2 books on my Kindle. I'm still reading the 100 Select Poems of John Keats. Don't ask me what I'm reading. I have no idea. I am just reading the words and picking up a little bit. I think this is supposed to be romantic, but I don't.
Yeah, I don't do poetry.
But I'm also
I
reading
have some
Star,
old
Star Wars comic books.
I have some old like poetry books. Like I have like Sir Walter Scott. I think he has some
Uh-huh.
in Tennyson. I think
I've, I've
and
got a Tennyson on my
maybe
nightstand.
Elizabeth Barrett Browning. I have some. I've collected them old, but I've never cracked one open to read them. What's the content on it?
I figured maybe I'll just feel smarter by opening it up and just reading the words.
Yeah, I should
But
try it sometime. But yeah,
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 yeah. And the only reason I picked up Keats is because of that my reading like Gladys Tabor project, because she's always talking about Keats. And since I started reading it, then I hear people quoting him. I'm like,
yeah.
people just go around memorizing him. I
A
don't get
lot of
that.
people, if they really like poetry, yeah.
Yeah, we were watching the Waltons, and Grandpa Walton is like quoting Keats, and I'm like, how does Grandpa Walton know Keats? I mean, obviously,
That was probably this like a lot of the stuff that they
there
read
wasn't
back
that
then
much to
too.
read back
Yeah,
then, you know.
yeah.
But yeah, he starts quoting, and then, or I can't remember now if John Boy said something first or Grandpa said, but like one of them started the quote and the other one finished it. And I could get John Boy because he's like in school and he's
Mhm.
studying and he's writing, but for Grandpa to
Well,
remember,
maybe John Boy brought his book home and Grandpa
maybe,
looked at it.
maybe so. I don't know. But anyway, so I'll show y'all just if y'all permit me to brag for a minute. I'll show you all the books that I've read so far this month.
I finished my 4 main ones that I said I wanted to that finished out a series, so I'm happy about that part.
Awesome. Yes. And that was another thing I was going to comment. I didn't ever get to, but I was like, that's the best goal is to finish off series. That's fantastic. I love that. So, okay. So is this showing up? I'm going to get over here too. I like to go by date read, not date added. And then still, they don't go in the exact order. I wish they would just stay in the order that I put them in. You
Okay,
know,
are you showing something? Because I'm not
I
seeing
am.
anything.
I'm showing my. Oh, wait. Maybe I'm not. Hang on. My bad. I went over to Goodreads, but I forgot to actually share it. Here we go. Share.
There
Oh,
we go. Now I can see it.
excuse me. All right. So the one I finished yesterday is Disappearing Act. Oh, and I have not. So this is the most I've ever had on my currently reading list right now. I have 19 books on my currently reading list. And actually, there's 20 because I only have one of Emily's devotions on there. But we have finished. I put the one on here that we read this morning. Oh, The Tale of Samuel Whiskers or Roly Poly Pudding. This was really cute. And I was thinking that Samuel Whiskers was going to be a cat because it starts out being about a cat, but it's Tom Kitten who is the subject of a book, but Tom Kitten gets kidnapped by Samuel Whiskers because he's a little kitten and they're big rats and they're just going to like roll him up in some dough and eat him.
Oh, so that's why he's roly poly
he's
pudding.
yeah, he's
Oh,
yeah, he they were going to make him into roly poly pudding.
that sounds fun.
So yes, I need to add this to my done. I'll give it 5. I'm generous with my 5 stars. It was cute. All right, so now let me go back.
I have a hard time with middle grade sometime because I'm like, I know I'm not like the age that it's supposed to be. So
Well, and
I
this is
try to remember that, I mean, it was fun for what it was,
yeah,
or that
and
I
I wouldn't
think
even
middle
consider this
graders
middle
would
grade.
really like it. Then I'll give it a little bit higher rating, I think, if I.
These I would just consider elementary. They have a little more length to them, some of them, than your average picture book, but
Yeah.
they are picture books and with with a decent amount of text. So all right, so if y'all
Would
can
you consider the little golden books picture books?
yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because see, I read one last month, and I'm like, I read like this is a picture book. It's only like 32 pages, and it has
Yeah.
more pictures than words. Because I read the Ghostbusters,
I
and
mean,
I
whether you call it
counted it
picture
for
book,
my picture
storybook.
book.
So what I'm sorry, what'd you read?
I said I Ghostbusters. I said I counted it for the picture book prompt
Yeah,
that they had because I was like, this is
absolutely.
like a picture book to me. But I just you never really hear them considered picture books. It's always just like little golden book.
No, they're definitely picture books. So this is what I have read this month, including what I've read with Emily. So we have The Tale of Samuel Whiskers or Roly Poly Pudding, Disappearing Act by Sid Fleischman. He also wrote The Whipping Boy. So I've been trying to read all the Sid Fleischman because I love The Whipping Boy so much. And then here's the Gary Paulson books. We have Mr. Tuckett, Tuckett's Gold, and they're not in the right order. Tuckett's Home, Call Me Francis Tuckett, and Tuckett's Ride. And then this was our yesterday's book, Tale of Mr. Jeremy Fisher. And then I just finished the first in this Star Wars trilogy that's a middle grade. They're all retellings of the original trilogy. So I finished A New Hope, The Princess, The Scoundrel, and The Farm Boy. I have those on CD. And I started the next one that's based on The Empire Strikes Back. Then this was a Bible study book that I finished, Through the Bible with Les Feldick, book 10. And now I'm taking a little break from that, and I'm reading one that's by Louis Giglio. I'm not sure. But it's off of that series for now, just because I had it and I just felt like reading it. So then back to my audiobooks, The Music of Dolphins. And I listened to Music of Dolphins by Karen Hess and Jennifer L. Holm, Turtle in Paradise, in the same day. And Turtle in Paradise is one of the books that was a Newbery Honor the year that this was the winner. I might I rated Turtle in Paradise 5 stars, and I might only rate this one 4. So I might argue that Turtle in Paradise, it was set historical Key West before there was a bridge to go there, and it's about
Oh
these
yeah.
kids that live in Key West. It was really good. I enjoyed it. So then, so like I said, we've been reading Beatrix Potter. So we read The Tale of Jemima Puddle Duck, and then we read The Tailor of Gloucester. I looked it up to see how to say that. It's Gloucester. And then I did a reread of Mary Poppins Comes Back, which is Mary Poppins number 2. I accidentally checked it out because I didn't think I'd read it, but I had no memory of it at all. And I'm going to read or listen to books 3 and 4 this month because I own those. I'll eventually do the whole series, but I was trying to get through the stuff that I own. And then most of the next few are going to be Caldecott. So Hello Lighthouse by Sophie Blackhall, Wolf in the Snow, Matthew Cordell. I also listened to Bambi on audio. So that's one of the ones for me, not for Emily, by Felix Zoltan. And then a Caldecott winner, Radiant Child. Then I read with my eyeballs Star Wars Jedi Academy number 6, The Principal Strikes Back. I started that on Star Wars Day, and then I took a few days to read it. I read The Call of the Wild by Jack London. And then here's more Caldecott, Finding Winnie, The True Story of the World's Most Famous Bear. I also listened to Peter Pan, the original Peter Pan. And I listened to the first 3 of the Grimm sisters. The Problem Child is number 3. This is going in backwards order. Then Caldecott winner, The Adventures of Beagle, The Unimaginary Friend, Locomotive. Let's see. I'm sorry. Adventures of Beagle. It was really cute. It was by Dan Santat. I don't know if it's Santat or Santat. I don't know. Depends on what accent you say. And I don't know how to say this guy's name either. Locomotive is by Brian. Maybe it's I don't know if it's Flocka. No idea. The only adult book I'm reading, other than the Bible study book, for May is Killers of a Certain Age by Deanna Rayborn. I had to finish that last week for my book club. This Is Not My Hat by John Clausen is Caldecott. The Unusual Suspects is Sisters Grimm number 2 by Michael Buckley. A Ball for Daisy by Chris Rashka. And A Sick Day for Amos McGee by Philip Stead. Those are both Caldecott winners. Fairy Tale Detectives is Sisters Grimm number 1. And then The Lion and the Mouse was the Caldecott winner for 2010, but I didn't pick those up until May 1st. So we had to have something to read the morning of May 1st. So we read Cowgirl, Kate, and Coco by Erica Silverman. So that is what I have read so far and finished. So what do we have? We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 27, 8, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, 33, 34, counting the semi-whiskers. So 34 so far. And and I finished today. I don't have it on here yet either. So 35, because I finished the Mrs. Don't You Dare Read This, Mrs. Dunfries. It's about a girl who's from a real dysfunctional family. Her father, he had run off, and then he came back, and he was like beating their mother, and finally then he leaves, and then the mother, because she just doesn't know how to live without him, she goes after him and leaves her kids alone, and so they're just trying to survive in their household. And meanwhile, she's like writing a journal. This is the Margaret Peterson Haddock's book. She's been writing a journal, and her teacher had said, I want you to write every day, but if you say at the top, don't read this, then I won't read it. So she hasn't been reading it. Well, so one day she forgets to write that, and the teacher reads it, but it's not anything major yet. But then she kind of realizes that her teacher really does care, and that her teacher might be able to actually help. And so, so she writes, something like, I hope you do read this, Miss Dumfries, because, I maybe you can help me. And let's go to my current reads. Let's see if I can get that. Okay. All right. You have to wait on me. I'll be done soon. So here's what I'm currently reading. I'm not actively reading all of these. Here's Moon Over Manifest. I just bought this Mossy Creek by Deborah Smith and other authors. Let me put them in order. I numbered my currently reading because I like to be able to put them in some kind of order. Here it is. Don't You Dare Read This, Mrs. Dun. Oh, I was saying Dunfries, but it's Dunfree. So yeah, it's kind of I guess it's middle grade. It would also be appropriate for YA too. I guess actually it probably really is more YA because she's already working. She's like 16 and she has a job at like some kind of a.
Yeah, I think there's like whenever it becomes like the older middle grade to older or to young young adult, it kind of mishmatches, I think.
Yeah,
A little
it's
bit.
appropriate for
Yeah.
both. So, all right, so there's that one, and then let me see here.
That's why I don't like putting things in like a box. Like I'm like, if you want to read younger, read younger. If you want to read some that are a little older, read older. But
Yeah, and for middle grade May and for book a day in May, really you can read whatever you want. And I mean, middle grade doesn't necessarily have to be
yeah,
specifically geared, to grade 6, 7, and 8. It can be, anything
yeah.
in a wider range. So I'm currently listening to The Mouse on the Motorcycle on my phone, and I'm currently listening to The Empire Strikes Back. So You Want to Be a Jedi on my CD player in the kitchen. And then this was the new Bible study book I picked up, Don't Give the Enemy a Seat at Your Table by Louis, I don't know if it's Giglio or Giglio. And then the ones I showed you, All Battles Into Sunset, Simone Lefray and the Chocolatiers Ball. I have been trying to listen to this Under the Lilac by Louisa May Alcott. I cannot get into it. I'm gonna finish it, but man, I have just been having a hard time with it. Moon Over Manifest, Aesop's Fables, Star Wars Comics Omnibus, 100 Selected Poems of John Keats. And then here's the stuff I'm not actively reading. These three right here, I'm not really actively reading them right now. Oh, actually four. And then here's my devotional books. Oh, this right here, if I send you a picture of the cover of this, will you, because there's no image at all, if I send you a picture of the cover, will you put that image in there
Yeah.
for this? Because it's driving me crazy. And I've taken a couple
Yeah.
of it and I'm not
I hate
having.
it when there's no photo. And if I have a book, you'll see some like my old ones, like this one, like there's like no cover. So I'll take a picture of it. So it's not a perfect cover on there, but I'm
Yeah,
like, at least now it has a
at least it has something. Yeah, I know. And that's why I haven't sent you one already because I can't. I haven't taken a satisfactory picture of it, but I will. Yeah, because anything's better than nothing. So, all right, let me go back to where we were, and then I probably need to get off here pretty soon. I thought I promised Storm would be just like an hour, and here it's been an hour and a half. Plus, I promised Emily it'd be only an hour, and she's come in here at least 6 times while we
probably like
put her movie in. I know. Let's see. I think we were here. Yeah, test Jane. Oh yeah, we did that. I still don't know if Amby, if you
okay.
can
So
figure
I
out,
don't know if I think she's still there.
maybe it
The
is.
Inheritance, the one that I think it is, which is Louisa May Alcott, is
Okay.
about a lady who comes. She's living with her uncle and her aunt and everything. And it's kind of like like the olden times or whatever. And
Okay.
her father has died and she's kind of like destitute or whatever, and so she's come to live with them and everything, and she's like really super sweet and nice and everything. And then a necklace goes missing and she gets kind of accused of that. And then she's also, there's like some papers that was her father's that nobody knew about or read. And then whenever they find out, like some things about her and stuff that and it has like the happily ever after ending, of course, and
Okay.
everything.
Yeah, I don't think I've seen it or read it or anything. So,
I
Amby,
like it.
does that sound like the movie you were talking about? Because if so, Storm thinks that's Louisa May Alcott. So Esther Jane says, I'm the queen of DVD with no cable or streaming DVD. It is very nice. Oh, with no cable or streaming, then DVD it is. Yeah. Yeah. I like DVDs too. I like videos. So it has Thomas Gibson, Bridget Branna, and the mom from Family Ties, which would be Meredith Baxter Burney. So,
Yeah, that's it. Then it's
okay.
Meredith Baxter Burney is in it. Yeah.
Okay. All right. She says, see it now. Okay. It's good. Awesome. Um, This is Nana got her a box set of Beatrix Potter books. Awesome. Yeah, they're really cute. I'm enjoying those. Next year we're gonna read because there's like 24 of them. So I didn't realize there were that many when we had already decided to finish Caldecott Winners. So we're reading a smattering of them that I had here at the house and a couple of library books. But next year I'll go from the beginning because they are numbered. So we'll start at the beginning and we'll try to get all of them from the library and at least the ones that we don't have and read them all like in order. Um, Hi, Deborah. Nice to have you. And yes, I'm with you. I would much rather read middle grade books than adult books because there's probably not going to be any swearing. If there is, it's really, really light. And B, there is generally no like heavy topics, or at least if there are, there's some resolution and there's hope and all of that. And they're just yeah, I
Yeah, I much prefer middle grade because a lot of times, I mean, sometimes I'll be like, okay, I'm middle grade out and I need some adult books and things. But I know, like, if I'm feeling down or feeling blue or I feel like I'm going towards a slump, it's always grab the middle grade book
yeah.
because it always makes me laugh and chuckle, and sometimes you just need that.
Donna says, "Hey Stormy, I am also reading Golden Legacy, the story of Golden Books by Leonard
Oh,
S.
that's so
Marcus."
cool! I didn't know they had that.
Yeah, a few Golden Books were my first library. Nice.
Yeah, I had all, the Pokey Little Puppy. That was my golden book that I can remember the most. Like, and
I love that one.
Burr Bear and Burr Rabbit and things like that. We had that. Dad used to read that one to me, and he would do voices. So I always said I've been listening to audiobooks since I was a kid because he would do voices for the Burr Rabbit and Burr Bear and Burr Fox and all that kind of stuff.
Nice. All right, I'll let you answer this one.
I think so. I need to get with Sarah because we usually do kind of a retro readathon in July because it's my birthday month, and we always do like a 2-week one, like during my birthday. Kind of my birthday falls in the middle of it or somewhere in it. But then I'm always like, but I'll read them all month long. But I give somebody a shorter time span if they want it, and then
Yeah,
since it's the summer, I don't want to take up all their
right.
reading.
Right. Because some people are doing that big book summer and all this stuff. Mitzi just announced that she's going to be doing a read along of Middlemarch,
Oh
which
wow, that is a big
I
book.
guess is huge by George Eliot. I found it on Audible Plus on audio. It's like 32 hours on audio.
That one seems to be pretty hit or miss with people. I've seen people that absolutely love it, and then some are like, I couldn't get through it. And I've always wanted to try it.
I may try it. If I can get the audio, I may try it. She's breaking
because
it
there's
down.
a movie. I want to watch the movie. And I'm like, but I gotta read the book first.
Well, sometimes though, like with some of those classics, if I just have no idea what's going on, I can watch the movie and then it kind of starts to meld together in my head, and then I can go back and either finish it or reread it, and then when I can visualize the characters, then I can kind of keep them straight better.
One thing, it's like with like The Inheritance. I've never read that book, but I've watched the movie. But I think it was, sometimes you don't know that they're based on a book until after you've already watched it or whatever. And then I was like, oh, that's a book. Okay, and I need to read the book, but I haven't.
She said that's the movie I'm talking about. Okay, good.
That's what I thought maybe because it's popped into my head. I just watched it not too long ago. It was on one of my streaming services, so I watched it, and it was one that I liked watching. Like back when it came out, whenever I was a lot younger, it was one of my favorite movies to watch. So.
Nice. She says her dad did the same thing, and now I don't know. My short-term memory is terrible.
She says below what.
Oh, okay. And Donna says, with Brer Rabbit. Okay, nice.
Yeah, I feel like the Pokey Little Puppy just seems like the golden book to me.
Because I think it's been in print since the beginning. Yeah. It's still in print. You can still get a brand new copy of it. Yeah.
And and I watched, and she's probably learning these things in that book or whatever it is. But I know like there are some that can go for like some buku monies and stuff. Mm-hmm. But they're supposed to have like at the very back of the book, it'll have a letter, and depending on that letter is like I guess first run, the second run, or whatever, and things. But I have looked all over every time I see like little golden books out, and I never see any letters in them. And it's like, so they must be like pretty rare, which is why they're like maybe worth some. I have seen some, but that person is selling like that one book for like $20. Yeah. So I'm like, well, this has to be one. So I'd look in the back because I just wanted to see if it was true, and there was a letter in the back.
Okay,
I was like, at least it's true, but yeah.
Oh goodness, y'all. Well, I am burning up here. This is not a very strong fan here in the office, and
I bet
I'm gonna have to go get.
And in Florida anyway, you be hot anyway. So.
Oh, and I feel bad for the animals. I went off to work today and left all the fans going so that they could, each of them could lay under a different fan.
Yeah.
2 fans in the living room and one over the dining table, and one Katie's room, and then there was one over my bed. So I just left them all on so that they could pick a spot. Everybody could spread out and pick a
Dresden has
spot.
a hatchet job on her because I told Dad, "Hold, you're gonna have to help me hold her," because I was trying to shave on her a little bit,
Oh,
and I'm not good at it at all. I don't know how people do that, but she does not like it, and she moves around and stuff. So I have to have somebody like hold on her. But I'm like, I cannot sleep. She will lay in the bed and pant, and I'm like, stop.
oh.
And I got the ceiling fan going, the air conditioner going, and I'm like, I'm freezing. I'm under covers trying to get her cooled down. So I was like, hatchet job it is today. So I tried really hard. So hopefully tonight she won't get too or too warm and she'll sleep. So I can.
Esther, yeah, really. Esther Jane, thank you for coming. Amby, thank you.
Yeah.
Donna, everybody who was here. Let's see. I don't know if everybody commented. There was Kim was here, Deborah.
Anybody who's working.
Yes, and just be on the lookout for and Lisa, the Lost Coffee Mug. If by any chance, Lee or Beth comes on with anything, Beth didn't say. I know she's busy trying to get the end of school, get school year wrapped up and everything. But
Yeah.
Lee had said maybe about she would be willing to do some sprints this weekend. But of course, I think we'll still have Tiffany's sprints on Sunday night, and then on Monday night is it going to be your channel or Sarah's for this coming Monday?
I don't think I've ever heard of that.
I don't remember who did it last week. I feel like you did it last week.
No, I think she did.
Wait, did she do it? Okay. Yeah, maybe it was. I don't. I may have made one comment, but I remember popping in and listening in.
Yeah, I think I remember you popping in. Yeah.
Yeah. So I don't remember. Anyway, but let's see. Yes, Amy, I have that. I think it's Tommy DePaola.
Oh, it's the legend of the. I was looking at the Indian paintbrush and I couldn't find
It's
it.
the Legend of the Indian
of the
Papers.
Indian
And that
paintbrush.
Tommy DePaola.
Yeah.
DePaola. I don't know how you say it, but yeah, that's a nice one. That's a good one. I think we have that in Emily's room.
I have never heard of it.
It's good. It's beautiful artwork too. Very nice.
It's a series.
Yeah. All right, y'all. Thank you so much. Storm, thanks for joining me and spending an hour and a half chatting about books with me. Thank you for all of you who are here and who commented, and even those of you who are here and didn't comment.
Even though we went off topic sometimes, we rounded back in.
Oh, goodness. And I'm sorry, it's not my best look. Like I said, not that I have a good one, but it is hot over here.
If you would have been wearing purple, we could have been twinsies.
Oh yeah. I just had I do have on a book shirt. See, so you can't really see it, but I do have on a book shirt. Anyway, thank y'all. Thank you everybody. I will be coming out. Oh, Storm, let me know. Well, I'll tell what I have coming next. But what do you have coming next? I know you have your daily reading vlogs. What do you have coming up on your channel?
Well, I haven't filmed yet, but I was gonna do like a mid-month wrap-up, even though I'm a little late. But
Okay.
It's only a couple of days, I think, because
today is really the official midday.
Yeah, and
16th.
So I need to do that, and then I do have a couple of like reviews, my old vintage ones that I haven't done yet that I was going to do.
Yeah.
Like I just did this one, and I've learned that I ramble away a lot whenever I talk about them. It was like 30 minutes, so I'm trying to edit that thing down,
Well,
if I didn't have to edit, it wouldn't take so long to do all these things. But yeah,
if we're in a hurry, we can speed you up.
Yeah, that's why I was like, "Don't gonna have to speed me up."
So I am gonna do because I did a wrap up at 10 days. So then I'll do one next Wednesday, which will be the 21st. So I'll cover the 11th through the 20th. So the second 10 days. And then at the end of the month, I'll do the last 10 days or the last 11 days.
Since I don't read a lot of contemporary middle grade, I've been thinking about doing like a video on contemporary middle grade books that I have read and I like.
That you like? Oh, that's a good idea. Yeah.
So I haven't really read a whole lot of them, but there's a few.
Yeah. And I think if you can have a takeaway from this, we would all agree that you should read The Giver, which is dystopian. It's not contemporary, but it's dystopian. And I feel like there was something else that that came up that we thought you should read. Mainly, it's The Giver.
Oh, it's those little Western books that I had for June too.
Oh yeah, yeah. Those are
I remember that.
easy to read.
And I should read the Hatchet you said, I think. Because
Hatchet, that was it. I knew there was something. Yeah, so definitely those, and that's a contemporary. So, yeah. All right.
But it
Well,
kind of sounds like it would be kind of the contemporary, like because it's a survival. Type
yeah, yeah. It's really good. It's definitely really good. And then if you really like that, then somebody mentioned Jean Greighead George. She's got a survival story that's a girl surviving in the Arctic wilderness with wolves. So, so Julia the Wolves is kind of like the girl version of Hatchet in a different setting. Yeah, both are survival stories. So yeah, those are good. All right, well, we'll end it here, and we thank you all for coming, and we'll talk to you later. Have a great day, reading.
Bye.
God bless you.